Hello again, it's Greg, I'm back. So this time I'm going to be talking about MyMathLab. The first thing I need to do is go here to the syllabus and copy this Perkins 21705 so that I get into the correct course. And then you can just Google MyMathLab. There we go. And it's technically called MyLab Math, but I always call it MyMathLab and it works out. So then you would click on that link, go to Student Access, then just scroll down here and say, I'm ready to register. And because I already signed in, it skipped that part. Or at least, maybe let's try this. Let me try this. Continue to register. Oh yeah, now it's going to ask, so you either create an account, or if you don't have one, then, if you have one, then sign in. So either create one or sign in. I already have one, so I'll sign in. Now the cheapest option is this 18-week for $95. So when you go to pay for it, I'm not going to click on it because I'm the teacher and then it's going to say error, you can't buy into your own course. So I won't click on it. But when you click on it, it will say use credit card information or temporary access. So there's going to be a temporary access button, which will allow you to use it for the first 2 weeks for free. So if you don't have the $95 right now, then use the temporary access. If you have financial aid at Hartnell College, you can go to the bookstore and use your financial aid to buy an access code, and then you would use that over here on the left. So either $95, definitely don't pay the $155. $95 for the cheapest, or access code from Hartnell's bookstore. Okay, so once you are signed in, oh, by the way, if you do use the temporary access, at the end of 14 days, it will say, okay, it's now time to pay. And if you don't pay at that time, they will freeze your account until you do pay, but all of your work will be saved. As soon as you pay for it, then it'll be back up and running. All right, now let's actually look at it. So I've got Math 3A online, here we go. So you would click on your course, and they have a lot of extra stuff here, but I'm just looking for assignments. So go to assignments, and if you go back to Canvas, so notice this says section 2.1 secant lines and velocity. If you go back to Canvas, the first video is section 2.1 secant lines and velocity. So they're named exactly the same thing. So you would watch the video, watch me show you how to do section 2.1 on secant lines and velocity, and then go over to do the homework. So all of the assignments are in here for the whole semester with all of the due dates on the left side. And they're already open, so if you want to work ahead, you can work ahead. When you work in the MyMathLab, whatever your grade is, every weekend, I will upload that to Canvas. So once a week, I'll take your grades from MyMathLab and upload them into Canvas. So once you're done with MyMathLab, you don't have to submit anything to Canvas or anything like that. All right, when you do the actual homework, for one thing, you have to make sure that you have allow pop-ups. So I'm using Chrome. Let me just move it. I'm using Chrome. So if it was blocking pop-ups, it would say right here, blocking pop-ups from Pearson. You click accept the pop-ups, because when you do the homework, it's gonna pop up a new screen. Okay, so this is actually very similar to the first example that I was doing in the lecture for that section. It's just that the numbers are slightly different. And you get unlimited number of attempts. So if you work it out and you say that the answer is 56, which I seriously doubt it because I just made up the number 56, then it's going to say incorrect. By the way, you need to use the slope formula. Okay, and then you can try it again. So down here at the bottom, you can also do view an example. So basically they just changed the numbers. So the original one has 10x cubed plus 10. This has 3x cubed plus 3. And then they take you through step by step and show you how to do it. So there you go. So view an example is very helpful. Whenever I use it, and sometimes I do, because students will say, I don't understand what they're talking about. So I'll have to go and look at their steps and explain it to the student. So I just use print. Not that I'm really going to print it, but that way it shows me the whole thing and I don't have to sit there and go click, 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 click to see each step. It just shows me all the steps. Okay. So you get an unlimited number of chances. I think that after a little while, it will change these numbers. Like if I try this 5 times in a row, then it will eventually change this to maybe 7x cubed plus 7, but it's basically the same problem. There's also get more help. So ask my instructor. If you want to ask me a question from the homework, please make sure you do ask my instructor, because when you do that, it's going to send me a picture of exactly what you were working on. So if you have 10x cubed plus 10, somebody else has 27x cubed plus 27, I will be able to see exactly what you were working on. And then you can send your message right here. Now, depending on the question, there is the textbook. So it will then, again, use a pop-up to show you the textbook. So then you could take a look at the textbook. They will have links. That's historical biography, but they will have links to little videos and such. So related study materials, and they'll show you videos that their people made. So you can see more examples. You can read like an old-fashioned textbook. So this was very similar to the question we were just doing on the homework, etc. So that's one resource. Under the Get More Help, depending on what they've created, sometimes they do have other things. I don't know if I'll be able to. Oh yeah, here I was about to close the window without finishing that question, so it gives me a little warning. Are you sure you want to move away from this? Yes. And under Get More Help, yeah, so then they've got a video directly for this question. So then you could watch their video.
We want to graph the piecewise defined function called f of x, where y equals x plus 2 if x
That
is
sounds like a human.
y equals 1 when x is equal to 2, and y equals x squared plus 1 if...
Wow, I think they actually used a human to make that. That's nice. Okay, so anyway, there's lots of resources that are available. You may think, help me solve this. Basically, help me solve this is the same as view an example. So help me solve this means they're going to solve this particular one. And once they show you how to do that, then they'll give you one where they change the numbers. Or if you say view an example, they give you one that's similar, but just with the numbers being different. So it's basically the same idea. Okay, so like I said, with the homework, you have an unlimited number of attempts. Now I'm done. I'm ready to move away. Let me just guess an answer. See if I can just guess and get it right. Oh yes, I did it. Okay, so then it automatically takes you to the next one. You can always move away and then come back from the homework at any point. I'm going to click save, that I'm done with that. And then it shows you, yes, I've got 1 correct so far. So 1 out of 8 completed, and those are all of the questions. Oh, I was just pausing right now because their numbering system sometimes matches my numbering system and sometimes doesn't. So this says 1.1, even though we're doing 2.1, but they all belong in that section. So they all belong in the section 2.1. I mean, I literally, when I picked the questions, I looked at each and every question, said, yes, this is appropriate for our section. Yes, this one. No, not that one, etc. Okay, then I just want to look at review. And basically, it then takes you back through the homework. Sorry, I thought that was going to be more interesting. You can also say similar question, like if you don't like that one because you're allergic to the number 10, you could say, let me do a similar question. All right, then I wanted to go back to, so exit. Sorry, they've changed the format just recently. Then there's also the quizzes. So the quizzes, the list of homework questions they give me for this is the same as the list for this. So basically they all come from the same list of homework questions, or the same pile of questions. So these are going to be very similar to the homework questions, they just change the numbers. Now with the quiz, you will get two attempts. So when you take the quiz, this has 30 questions, and according to their calculating system, based on all the thousands of students, the quizzes will take anywhere between, say, 45 to 55 minutes. That's what they say based on the number of questions. So I didn't just do it by the number of questions. I just looked at the timer. When the timer got to, it says, this is going to take about 48 minutes. And I say, okay. Now, when you take a quiz, you can stop, but you do need to finish a question. So if you're on number 7 and you want to take a break and go get a sandwich, finish number 7 and then you take a break. Because if you opened number 7 and you walk away and it logs you out, then it's going to assume you got a 0 on number 7. So finish a question, then tell it, stop, I'm going to take a break, you can come back, and then finish. When you're done with the quiz and you got, let's say, 85%, you're like, man, I really want at least a 90%, you get to take it a second time. So for the quizzes, you always will have 2 attempts. All right. And then if you look over here to the video and resource library, what I like about this is you can tell it what you're working on. Say section 2. We don't do that one. Section 2.5. And then you tell it, show me everything that you've got. And then all of the videos or interactive figures for PowerPoints, the textbook, the videos, then you can look at all of these things to get even more help. So I sort of like that feature. Okay, so that's basically how the MyMathLab works. Like I said, you should always start by going over here to assignments, and then they will all be here. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.